learn ways to avoid common
mistakes,
like being too conservative or not setting retirement goals. Get Fisher Investments Comfortable Retirement Kit, the help you need to make your retirement a success. Call 1-800-353-5533. Have someone on your side to keep you on track.
At 5 o'clock on the button. You got that just perfectly timed. Oh. Hello, everybody.
Remember, folks, if you missed our unauthorized history of socialism summit earlier, you can catch it right now on Fox Nation,
going,
and it will air Friday at 8 p.m. right here on Fox Business.
Turn that down.
See you tomorrow. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis getting sued for sending immigrants to Martha's Vineyard.
Ron DeSantis is getting sued. He's doing exactly what the federal government's been doing for a year or more. In the middle of the night, transporting illegal immigrants all over the place. And that's a problem, according to
voters in Democrat cities and states plagued by violence may want to change.
Justice.
Lieutenant Governor candidate who's hoping the crime issue will turn her blue state red. We got a jam-packed show for you. Russ Vogt, New York Lieutenant Governor candidate Allison Esposito, retired four-star
assuming the Republicans get control of Congress, they're going to investigate everybody up and down. They're going to impeach.
And our top
I
story,
hope they do. I hope they impeach.
The president may have found another fall guy for his administration's inflation.
Make a
At
big
first,
dent
of course, he and his team tried to deny it. That went over like a lead balloon. They blamed it on the pandemic. When the inflation still went up after the
Dow went down 500 points today after the Fed raised the interest rate by another 0.75%. I mean, there's decades of history where the Fed has not increased rates, quarters, eighths and quarters. I feel like I'm father time here. I mean, this Fed goes up, bam, 3/4. Excuse me, 75 basis points in a whack. He's done it twice in a row. And everyone, in the money market business is thinking it might even go up 100 basis points in one whack. And he wants to slow it down. And my God, he's taking it down hard. Like down, Virgil. He's like a submarine commander. Take it down 30 degrees. Take it down to 600 feet. It's amazing. Anyway, that Dave Asman, who's on Fox Business Channel at the moment, let's switch to the 5. The 5 is always interesting because they start yelling about God knows what. Oh, there he is. My favorite guy, Jesse Waters. He is like gone from who's he to a media spectacular young fella that'll jump on anything and crawl. He's not a bad guy. I mean, he's just like, when O'Reilly had his show, he had an hour show, right? So every once in a while, he'd have to throw in, like a funny guy. Well, that was Jesse Waters. So what was Waters doing? He'd go down to, this is a New York City-based program, right? So he'd go down to Long Island, and he'd go to Jones Beach. I used to work at Jones Beach. So he'd go on the beach there and go right over where the dune fences are, which you can like step over, and he'd start interviewing anybody that would, not be afraid of a camera and a microphone. So he'd shove the mic. He'd get these young girls to come over. And, oh, you go to school? Where do you go to school? Where do you go to school? At Hofstra, and all this stuff. And what? Oh, you're a senior? Okay. Who is this a picture of? So he's got a bit. He's got a 8.5, by 11 that he knocked off his printer and scotch tape on something. At that point he was a low budget guy. They didn't assign to him any what do you call it? People, graphic artists. He didn't get graphic artists. He's lucky he got a microphone. So he'd do his own graphic art. So he'd bring out 3 pictures. Who's this? And it's a big picture of George Washington. And these people obviously don't know what George Washington looks like. Oh, is that Kennedy? Is that is that Nixon? No, they give him 3 shots, per picture, and then you bring up another picture. And it was a picture of what do you call it? In my made-up story here, Abraham Lincoln. So they bring up another teenage, I'm a history major, and and they don't have, they don't have a clue what that guy looks like. Hey, it's terrible. Ah, I'm looking at my iPad here for some news that might be interesting. Well, they got a new, the Apple Watch saved my panty, right? Because the alarm went off, 3.5 years ago. Here's a picture of a new Apple Watch. Oops. Oops. Now this is a bigger face. It still fits my watch band, but it's a, it's a big hunk of metal sticking on your wrist. And, I should have gotten that one. Anyway, I don't know how many people went to that. So this is a review of it. It's like if, you see, like this is a stopwatch. So they're going through all the different. And it's $800. So it's like $50 more than. It's. Let's see if I can get a picture of it again. Almost like a sideways. There it is. You see this little zone right here. That's like this little zone right here, which. Look at that! You see the green lights? It's almost like it's taken off. These things are always ticking. So, but anyway, this part right here on a regular watch is just, soft. It fits with the rounded edge of the crown of the watch. And this thing, crown, what they call the digital crown, it sits, it's like sticking out. Here it gets a little protection so it doesn't get knocked off, beat up, or whatever. But you see what I was afraid, see the thickness of that thing? So it's going to stick up a little bit more. This is already big for Jimmy's wrist. This is the 45 millimeter case. This is 49, so it's 4 more millimeters, which is not a giant increase in size. But anyway, so.
Inflation? Remember they got mad at reporters for saying that inflation might not be transitory? Prime, Afghanistan, baby.
It's twice as bright. So it's real bright. All right, everything works on it that used to work on it. See, there's now there's the side. See there now they have another button. There is no button on this side of my watch, but they have a button there which you can program to do things depending on what you're doing with your watch. So maybe you just hold this one, press that one to start a, yeah. See there, he or she, I can't tell if it's a he or she. He pushes that to start a workout routine, which my workout routine would be walking to the elevator and then walking back. Anyway, so I didn't. They say all the bands, all your 44 and 45 millimeter Apple Watch bands will fit, properly on this thing. And I mean, there was a moment where I thought of getting it, in stainless, and then have a stainless band. And then when in a dark band, I could just wear this one. But when it came to ordering, I forgot about that. I just got the regular 8. It's the thing. It's the thing now to have this, a huge watch band, a huge watch on your wrist. I come from the thing where it used to be the thinner the watch, it was like as thin as a quarter. Now there's like a, now what do we got? We got $3 silver. That's the thickness of that watch. Let's see what the thickness of this one is. Interesting way to think about it. Now, this is more than $2 silver. See, it's about the size of a silver dollar. I wasn't too far off. But that sucker is a solid $3 silver thickness, which, that's pretty thick. Anyway, so we'll see what happens when Apple Watch 9 comes out. And if Apple Watch 9, still has this big one in the lineup, they need to be. They've been working on blood pressure and, a non-invasive blood sugar reading and blood pressure, but they haven't released it into the watch. Now, what would be really neat is if they would incorporate, that into, you got a lot of sensors back there. Well, use the sensors you got. Why do you need a new sensor? 33 hours of runtime. What was the Apple Watch Ultra for? Anyone who wants to wear a big watch. Always on. This is always on. My watch, see, I turn it over. It goes from not very bright to bright. 5, 14, 25, 26. See how they're synced? They're going off the same satellites. It's amazing. That, there it is. 42, 43, 44.
This is Fubo TV. It's a better way to watch live news and shows.
That's a second.
Watch both
Yeah, back 50 years ago, you'd be turning this one and you'd be turning that one, and every day you'd have to resync them because they all keep their own time, not necessarily Eastern Standard Time. Anyway, I wrote an article and published it on WordPress. Do I have a link to WordPress? Let's just pull down and do WORDPRESS.com/FAU. Look at that. There's actually a button. Yeah, I have a button to that. Then I go to there it is. You see, there's Jimmy. And I should do it on the other one. Just so we can. Let's do it on the other one.
This war is about distinguishing Ukraine's right to exist as a state, plain and simple, and Ukraine's right to exist as a people. Whoever you are, wherever you live, whatever you believe, that should make your blood run cold.
Okay.
Biden did get to speak about his favorite topic.
I've signed a historic piece of legislation
Okay.
in the United States.
Never mind. I don't know. It's not. Oh, I know why. Gotta plug it in, dummy. This big red wire. Just lost my clock. This big red wire. If I can get it untangled, I will get it untangled.
You know, Greg, right now, what you've
I'm gonna unplug the black wire and plug in the red wire. Whoops, sorry. I'm having my arm on the microphone. There we go. Let's get our time capsule. And oh, jeez. Mr. Fidget is alive and well. What the hell's going on here? Look at that. Is that I'm not gonna miniature view. Let's get rid of that.
Missiles and bombs and trucks. I think
There we go.
these reservists thing, I don't think
Oh, there it
Putin
is.
land on this. It's a credit to the Ukrainian
I'll
fighting
get
force
in
and
there.
our billions of dollars. Because I think this is a good sign for Ukraine.
Okay.
Because I don't think millions of Russians are going to be happy that their
So
fathers
we're
and their
gonna
brothers and their
flip
sons
this
who are
up,
reservists who may have retired are being called back in to fight
and then
in
we're
Ukraine.
gonna do what I
That's
just
the
did.
other thing. I don't think it's comforting to know that your Russian soldiers may not be coming back anytime soon.
Let's see if this keyboard is working. Lots of exotic noises here. Click this one on. And that collapses that. All right, so now this keyboard. We need to,
Well, and you know, Dana, the truth is that with 300,000, I think is the estimate of reservists
there we go.
going out, and then
This keyboard right here
moving out of Russia at a record number.
is
This was supposed to be
zoomed into. It's not the right word. Is Bluetoothed into. It's Bluetooth into this this iPad sitting over here. So we're going to type in WORDPRESS.com/FAU. And there it is. We click on that. See what happens here. I haven't been to this site in a long time. So why are we here? Well, I was talking about the clock. I wrote a lot of really neat articles. And it was at a time when they had a very convenient WordPress app. It made it so easy to write articles and incorporate graphics. And you'll see, let's see if we can find, let's just do a search. Somehow can we do a search?
this administration, I don't know that we're going to have a better policy as it relates to energy. And the truth is, I mean, this guy thinks he can threaten us and that we're afraid of him. And the high Mars weapons.
See, there's News Watch. I got a little Apple Watch.
So energy security is something
So we can touch that.
about, and the Europeans are learning a lot more about. I don't blame us fully for their challenges. We should be producing more here, but the Europeans are going to have to adopt a different energy posture going forward. Two, who's losing? 7-8 months ago, this conversation, there was a lot of consternation in our conversation about what the administration should be doing.
There you go.
Those that thought that the president was moving
Looks like
slowly.
it's going to go there.
I gave them the benefit of the doubt. It turns out they were far more right than wrong. There's 70 to 80,000 Russians have been killed. They cannot impose a draft to bring more soldiers into this because, as Greg so happily said, people don't want to do this. I think what Dana said is
Open
the
and
most
new tab.
as we confront this question right here, which is how India and China are
Oh, well.
receiving Putin at this
I don't
point.
want to.
They have been allies of his.
Oh, here it is.
The sidelines, which you can construe as being an ally.
Okay, let's see.
In China, and China's leader and Russia's leader got together 7 months ago and said there was a limitless nature to the relationship. And then China's leader said, no, I need to back that up a little bit. This is not going as we thought. The question now becomes, what happens? What is the negotiated out to this? I can't imagine Zelensky's going to give up any land. He shouldn't.
Let's go.
And it's hard to stomach. To Greg's point, how does Putin look at people in the face there in Russia and say, we did all of this, we lost all these troops, we were exposed,
I should just
not have the military
pick
people
one.
that we had, but we're going to back up now. We're at a hard point now, and it will take the Blinkens and the others of the world and our diplomacy corps to help figure out how we get out of this. Jesse?
Well, I wouldn't rely on the Blinkens.
All right, so we got Apple Watch. Let's see. Live streaming. Oh, here we go. Accuracy satellite. This is story is like crazy amazing. There we go. See, you can see it. So let's go. See if I can fool Monty on that one. There we go. So now we can see the story. Oops. Oh yeah, this is control from here. I got so many things going on. I lose track. So I start off with only Apple would create a global system of 15 strontium -1 network time savers. This is satellites that are controlled or managed by the Naval Observatory Master Clock, and it's a time standard that's linked to an array of 24 GPS satellite. I'm reading right off of this thing. 24 GPS satellites in 6 orbital planes of 4 satellites per orbit, which means you got, you got orbits that are one is like underneath and turned a bit, so that all parts of the Earth can be covered by this. It's orbits that are 22,300 kilometers above Earth.
With all the activities we do to live the life we love, Relief Factor helps us feel ready to take.
And these satellites travel at 7,000 NPM, miles per hour.
Relief Factor helps our bodies deal with aches and pains, including elbow, hip, knee, neck, and back.
So Apple Watch
The type of pain that comes from living
is synced
and it's
to all these satellites.
drug-free. Not only do
So I did a graphic here.
we just feel better.
Would you like to get back to living the life you used to
24
live?
satellites, 6 unique
That's what Relief
orbits.
Factor has done for us.
Join us and hundreds of
There you go.
thousands of others.
So here's what those satellites look like. And they're circulating around the Earth.
Call 844 Relief to order now.
Find the life you love.
So according to my research,
Relief Factor.
the Apple Watch is 4 times more accurate than the iPhone, because the watch is synchronized with the satellites, routinely during the day to keep it within 50 milliseconds of the exact time. Which means that, and I did this in a bar, a local saloon. You take your watch and you put it on something here, and I said, put this on your watch. So he got this on his watch, and it's like 43, 44, 45. I mean, it's like the exact thing. Or if you have a sweep second hand, all our hands are sweeping exactly the same. I mean, how nuts is that? I mean, only Apple would do that. So I got a picture of the actual satellite communication thing. It's accurate to 1/20th of a second, which is 50 milliseconds. So if you could divide, how big second hands they click. Well, each click is a second. You divide that up into 20 slices. That's pretty accurate. So I got pictures of satellites beaming down to Earth. I mean, I did a lot with graphics over here. So as you're reading my article, there'd be graphics right alongside if you're seeing the test equipment that's in the Naval Observatory. And they have a cesium atomic vibrations that are measured of a particular cesium element, and it's a mildly radioactive element, and it vibrates. So the accuracy of that is 2 to 3 parts per 10 to the 14th, which is that's what that number looks like. So you got 14 decimal places. That's the fraction, it's point. So that's a fraction of a second, which is the accurate of 2 nanoseconds per day. Or it would be accurate to 1 second in 1,400,000 years. So that's pretty, in other words, you'd have to go 1,000,000 years before you'd have to reset that second hand 1 second. It's not a lot of synchronization going on there.
Stating the obvious that we have an emergency, we have a climate emergency, is becoming an unpopular thing to do. This
I call this the deep dive in time. A cesium clock operates by exposing cesium atoms to microwaves until they vibrate with one. So they vibrate, together. Because remember, I told you cesium is vibrating a little bit, and they have a microwave device that they tune next to it, so that they vibrate, in sync with each other. So that's how the atomic clock keeps its accuracy. So here's a little circuit board I got, but this is how the engineers play. I used to do that kind of playing in a university laboratory.
For example, if a company doesn't allow for reimbursement of travel for an abortion, the employees of that company might declare it a hostile work environment, and then in the ESG guidelines you can get docked, and that hurts the company. Or you're like Delta Airlines and you take a ridiculous position.
This is a picture of a rocket engine booster engine, and the second stage,
There's a lot to be said here about investing,
has
in a way that protects the
a package.
environment and is good for the
Here's a GPS satellite package.
But
Now,
whole idea of the social notion of it,
Elon Musk is doing this with his own satellites, called Starlink. And when he launches it, he launches 60 of them at a time. There's one. There's a difference. So here's a big array. This is stuff that's on the wall.
Companies should be concerned about their bottom line. They have a fiduciary
So you have the Naval Observatory time. You've got the observatory itself with these different devices that are keeping track of stuff. And that takes up these two panels. And then you've got, some alternate gear. And then you got the master time. So this is these two, the first two get fed into the fifth one. And the fifth one gets transmitted all over the world so that the U.S. Army and, all its folks and people that have radios and devices, they all have the same time within 50 milliseconds. Maybe not quite that much.
So, it's interesting to me when Republicans
See, there's the
something that
put a picture of that up there. So hopefully you're watching some of this as I'm spooling down through. See, Strontium 0 dial, 1, 2, 3 servers. And that's how the
business visionaries of my lifetime would have probably been called woke or been attempted to cancel. Musk wanted to make electric cars, and I differ with Dana. I have a little different point of view about ESG, about the environmental and social and governance piece. I don't think it's all.
We're talking about electric cars. I have one.
You know, it costs because Musk said we're going to take the combustible engine and make it obsolete. We're going to do something different. But he made it's a company. I know, but it's still this guy's saying, look, I'm not here, but I'm saying, look, we all got time here to argue. We're going to take a step back here. Jobs who revolutionized the way we consume, buy and consume groceries.
The problem with this electric car stuff is, way back when Ford didn't invent the car. He just invented a method of manufacturing cars, faster, with an assembly line. Before that, they were all handmade, in almost like a farm-looking garage. Ford's factory looked like a car factory, where they come off the line, and they did 2 or 3 cars per day. I don't know what the speed was. But, when they were writing in 2005 and 2006, when they were writing about these, gasoline-powered cars that Ford was making, who was all pissed off? The horse and carriage people, because everyone had a horse and a carriage in there, so it's interesting, so now we're going to play the clock ahead 105 years. So now we're in 2022, and all the gas car people are pissed off because, now the high society is moving to electric cars. And we don't need those stink pots, poisoning our air with all this combustion, excrement, carbon and CO2 and all this stuff that's poisoning our atmosphere. So the people that are all upset is all the gasoline car people. And, we have millions of people that own gasoline cars. And, the problem, I guess, with our current president, is that he's trying to, push this, down everyone's throat a little faster then we have the capacity to deal with it. Turn this down a little bit. Whoops. So all the gas, well, all these people sitting around the 5, I think they're all driving gasoline cars because I don't hear any of them speaking up for electric cars. But I happen to have, I just, one night, I mean, literally at 1 o'clock in the morning, I designed. I went to. I have it here. Let's see if I can just get it up on here. There we go. DESLA.com. Tesla.com. So here's a Model Y. This is what we got. Anyway, so I went online and I designed one of these guys. I went to the, you can edit. So I'm going to edit the design. So here's the Model Y. Now, do you want the long range version or do you want the performance version? Well, let's do the performance. It is a long range. It's 303 and that's 318. All right, so 0 to 60 in 4.8 seconds or 0 to 3 in 3.5 seconds. Let's go with the high performance version. So what do you get? You get a speed, you can go 155 miles an hour. I don't think so, but you could. I mean, the car is designed to go 155 if you wanted to. It has 21-inch Uber turbine wheels, high performance brakes. It has a lowered suspension. You're a little closer to the street. This is a Model Y, yeah. And you order one of these, you can get delivery in September of this year. So and the long range version, September, October, November, December, 90 days later. All right, so let's just stick with that one. So you pick your paint. You don't have a lot of choices. You've got red. This is solid black. That's what we got now, which is nice, but you can fry an egg on it when it's in the sun. Metallic blue. That's actually pretty nice looking on the road. I can't imagine picking it, but and then this is like silver metallic, which it's kind of like gray, and then you got white. So I'm vanilla ice cream. I'm getting white. I got black this time when we do the renewal, in a year, because we're almost done with this lease term. Anyway, so I was doing this at literally 1 o'clock in the morning. So I said, okay, what wheels do I want? Those wheels are. So yeah, so if we go to the performance, there we go. White. They don't charge you. Now, if you got the blue paint, they'd ding you for $1,000. If you went to the red one, they'd ding you $2,000. We're gonna do white. Ready? Tow hitch. Yeah, we want to put the tow hitch on there in case we want to tow something. And the interior is going to be white. I want these white chairs. I have friends that have this interior, and the white stays white. It's not like it picks up all the, you hear all these rumors, you wear blue jeans, all the blue jeans gets on the white, and you end up with blue on the white. And that's not true. We just have 5 seats. You can get more, but I don't want more. Let's see what, if we chose more, let's see what it would be for those that, let's just press 5. Is there another, it doesn't seem to be another choice. 5 seats is included. Other details. There you are. So this is kind of like looking up at the glass roof. Which is, you know, if you're sitting in the back seat. Right now, here's, you know, if it's raining, you can actually hail your car. When you're on the road, if you want to change your lanes, you just use your column thingy on the left side. You just push it up if you want to change your lanes, and it'll accelerate and find a spot. So you're not, you know, turning around like this, looking over your shoulder. You don't have to. You just do your turn signal on which lane you want to be in, as opposed to what lane you're in, and it'll do it for you. It'll figure out, you know, who's in the way and who's not going to be in the way, and it'll automatically change lanes. See, now the full self-driving capability is $15,000, but it doesn't work yet. So, you know, I'm not adding that into the what you call it. That's too expensive. So
I think this is something everybody should remember. When you live in a bubble, you can never see around the corner.
this wall connector, I may end up getting one of those. You know, the other guy paid for the circuit, so maybe I'll pay for the wall connector and upgrade that so we just don't have to be grabbing the stuff out of the trunk of the car every time we plug in.
What she thought was a made-up name, but it's not. It's a real name. If you live outside a bubble, you would be aware that you can actually.
Okay, so now you continue the payment. This is exactly what I did at 1 o'clock in the morning. So I said, okay, there's that. There's my lease. We did a lease. And so if you want to put customized payment, 4,500 down? No, we're not going to do that. How much are we going to put down? 0. It's all zeros. So now your lease payment is $1,000 a month. If you, let's just say you put 1,000 down, that means that signing, you would have to, you know, have on your debit card $2,000, because it'd be this 1,000 plus, you know, the $1,200 delivery and what you call it fee, plus you put 200 down to. All right, so now we're done with that. What else do we have to do? Here's your gas savings. So, you know, in 3 years, you'd be saving about $4,000, assuming your electricity cost is 0.14, which it's not, it's 0.12, I think it is. All right, so let's get rid of that. There aren't any special incentives before, so we can just click out that. And what else? So the wall connector is $400, and the order fee, non-refundable order fee, is $250. So due today is $650. Okay. And then you can just click that, and then you put your name and address and your debit card information, and you hit the button. So since you have a lease, it's a pretty brief credit application. You know, you put your name and your address, and you put your, you know, what your source of income is, and all that kind of stuff, and what's your monthly income, and what's your monthly expenses, and go through all that stuff. And at that point, you know, this is like 2 years ago, the non-refundable fee was $100. So I figured, all right, and I don't even know that it was non-refundable. It may have been, or I think I just made the decision. I'm going to go ahead and risk the $100 and let's play. And I'm going to order everything just the way I imagine we want it. And I filled out all the information for the lease and pushed the button. And 45 seconds later, it says approved. You're done. Your anticipated delivery date is somewhere in the first week of June. I said, holy crap. We just got ourselves a new car. I got to figure out how to get rid of this Honda, in June of, a year, 2 years ago. Oh boy. So that's how I was just playing. And I figured, but let's play with the way I would want it. So I played with the way I want it. Wham! That's what got delivered. I think there was some point, within a month of when they delivered the car, you had to put whatever the balance was. I don't know. I don't think it was. I was going to say they come after you for a few more bucks. I was on a lease, and I think I had $3,000 down. So that's how we ended up with our first Tesla. So now this one, see, I'm just playing now. And, the white on white in white, I got the white exterior, the white interior, and, but I'm not going to push the button now because my lease on the one we have is not up until next June. So we got to be in 2023. So I'll be, they tell you when the anticipated delivery is. I think with the high performance version, you get the car a little bit faster than if you just get and there's a lot of stuff in the high performance. Like they automatically give you the better wheels, which is a $2,000 upgrade. And but I've been listening to these engineers that take apart the cars, the electric cars. And they're two really good engineers. And they have videos that they make, which you can watch, without a charge. They're always looking for a handout, but there's no fee to watch the videos that they have made for their students. They're part of universities. One guy is, and the other guy has his own, analytical laboratory that's funded by manufacturers. Anyway, so I read all that, I listen to all that stuff. When you get your iPhone and it gives you a 192-page booklet, I'm the guy that reads the booklet, twice. No one ever reads those booklets. Well, I do. Anyway, so I listen to the shows when they take apart Teslas, and they had a frenzy over taking the batteries apart, and the batteries are constructed they're in a titanium case that's a 1/4 inch thick. Now, 1/4 inch thick is about that thick, 1/4 inch. Now look how thick. That's solid titanium. This is aluminum. But, you don't realize what a 1/4 inch is until that's solid titanium, top, bottom, all the way around. Because the battery is something that's important, and in case you get in a wreck, they don't want the battery busting open because it's got a bunch of little of these in there. Like it's got like 1,000 of these in there. and they're all lined up, and they're connected into like 14 different modules, because each cell is 3.7 volts. We don't have a battery storage today, but which I will, sometime soon. And I have another camera I can plug in instead of plugging in, another iPad. I can plug in another camera that is, something that I can do close-ups of, things like batteries, whatever. And one of the things I do when I do something on batteries is I line up different types of batteries. Lithium batteries, rechargeable batteries, AA, AAA, and you kind of line them up and hold them in your hand, and you can see how. I mean, these are what are known as 26 650s. You see how? Whoops. Uh, 26 650. See if I go here on the microphone. Camera's focused on that. 26. You can barely see it. It's kind of like a little out of focus. I put it up right close. It has no choice but to get in focus. Anyway, if I have that other camera up, that's the kind of stuff you can do. You can look at real fine detail, real close up. Anyway, these are 26 650, which means it's 65 millimeters height and length, and the first two digits, 26, is the diameter. So this is 26. Now it's 25 and a half millimeters per inch. Well, this is 26 millimeters. 665 millimeters tall and 26 millimeters wide. And this fits in flashlights. Oops, I just pulled one of these out here. Here's a flashlight. It's a good humdinger. See, it doesn't have a filament. It's got a light emitting diode. And unscrew the head, and it should be, which side is positive? These cells look, I think, yeah, that's negative because it's just got a disc, and that's positive because there's the positive terminal. So we'll slide that in there, slide that in there, and then we screw this little puppy on top. Now, I don't know, I forget if these batteries are discharged or not. We're going to find out. So, yeah. So, let's see. I'm not going to flash it in the camera. Just, whoops. that was the end. The battery's out of juice. Okay. So, but anyway, that thing is super bright. I mean, it is really bright. So I'm just going to put that all up there for now. I've got chargers coming from Amazon that'll handle batteries that size, and all four of them. So I can hold 8, because I got a whole bunch of the batteries. And the hurricane stuff is swirling around. So I figured, you know what, I better get my flashlight batteries, up in order. Thinking of that, let's go to the Hurricane channel. Oops. There it is. There. It actually had an eye and everything, and it's not that far. They're all excited about it going that way, but you know what? These hurricanes don't often see the threat exists. It's 4. When it gets up to 8 or 9, then you start, then you not only get your batteries out, but you dust off your Bible and start praying. Because you don't want. Now we're in a post. Um, when the hurricane hit Miami, Hurricane Andrew. So we're in a post Hurricane Andrew environment. So all the municipalities, or at least all the modern municipalities in Florida, which is in the hurricane path, I'm sure South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia, they all changed their building codes to be able to, like in Florida, the building codes for this building, which was built 16, 17 years ago, in 2003, 2004, 150-mile-an-hour wind. You could have a phone pole hit the sliding glass door we got here, which is 8 foot tall and 4 foot wide. That sucker's got to weigh 600 pounds. Now it slides beautifully on the track, that's clean as a whistle. But you could tell you got some serious heavy glass. And there's some window manufacturers that are switching, some of the windows to fiberglass instead of glass. So you got to be really careful on how you wash those windows, because you don't want to get them all scratched up, because the surface, it doesn't have the scratch resistance that glass has. But glass also has the ability to shatter. Now the glass that's in these sliding glass windows has a laminate of plastic in the middle, so that it gives it the resistance of having an object going through it all the way, and having it go through, grandma while she's sitting on the couch. So, like Pella is a Pella. Pella Windows is a very high end, well made, quality window. They have some of their windows in their hurricane, the part of their department where the windows are fiberglass. Now this is like in the middle. This is almost like what you have in your shower. Uh, so that if something breaks it all breaks up in a bunch of little pieces, but it doesn't all fall to the ground. It all stays, in the frame, um, so that a projectile can't get through. Look at this, isn't this nice? I just got a signal. Like, Jimmy has a robotic device for taking care of my kitty cat when it goes tinkle or boopy. And it just did a cycle. It says the drawer is 60% full of boopy and tinkle. I have this special litter that's like shale. Uh, it's it's like clean dirt, so it's not brown. It's like gray colored, and it's shale, I think they call it. See, so history. I can take the history, and there comes the history. So there was a pet that was 13.2 pounds. Well, that's Kenya. And then we have another pet that's 16.8 pounds. Well, that's caribou. And look at this, 17.7. That's Kino. That's the boy cat. So the boy cat is the heaviest. See, and then Caribou went in there again at 10:17 in the morning, and then she went back in there at 2:27, 4 hours later. And in the meantime, Kino went to the bathroom at, I can't tell what kind of bathroom duty activity they had, but it picks up their weight because the strain gauge, it's got 4 legs and they all connect to produce the weight because it can tell when the cat jumps up in there what the weight of the animal is. So later in the year, they better hurry up. They're running it. It's like, oh, it's October next week. In let's say 45 days from now, they're going to do an upgrade on the software, and you can label this, caribou instead of pet weight. It says caribou weight, and then have the pounds. So you can name, which cat is around 17.5 pounds. I happen to know that, the heaviest cat we got is the boy cat. And how do I know that? Well, I'll show you. I go here to the home thingy, and I have a few cameras, and so I got one camera that shows the dining room table. You're not going to see this very well. So this is the dining room table, and whoops. Let's pull this down, turn down the brightness. So remember this camera that's watching us is very sensitive. So here's the dining room table, the backs of the couch. See, here's the couches when we sit in these two positions. Oh, you see, there's a little cat walking around. You probably can't see it. And this is a camera I have facing out the window. This is a camera I have in the kitchen. And it just so happens I have a picture of the, this is my robotic Gooper Duper. See, now here's a cat in there at 5:51 p.m. So I can go right there and I can look at that and determine that it's an all black cat. Well, guess who that is? That's Kino. So we'll go back to this one. See, 13.2 pounds. 5:53, 5:52. So that's how I can. So I know that the lightest. I mean, I can tell just by the cats walking around, but not what they weigh, but that this cat is the least heavy. And it's a tie for who's the most heavy. Just so happens the boy cat was 17.7 pounds. And the old lady cat, Caribou, who is the oldest cat of our cats, is 16.8 pounds. Their weight doesn't change that much. Anyway, so that's. Anyway, so you heard how we ordered the car. It's like, it was literally 1 a.m. So that's like 10 p.m. in California time, or wherever that information got sent to. So I have it set up on at least on auto pay. So we may, when it's time to get a new one 14 months from now, we'll have a history paying Tesla. So, and by then the car will be more expensive. All right, what time do we got? Let's, yeah, I've been talking for an hour and 5 minutes, so that's enough time. You probably people are dropping off like flies, and the number of people that are listening to me talk about things. But we got some loyal people. All right, so since it's 6:05 p.m., yeah, it started at 5 on the button. So that's about enough for now. I'll get back on the air tomorrow. We'll talk about stuff. I ordered new Series 8 watches for Marilyn and myself, and Marilyn's still watching. I'm sorry, Marilyn's watch is still it's like a Series 4. So it's been 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is her, her first upgrade. Actually, that's probably the first one she got, and so she's entitled to a new version. The way AT&T does it, they take the price of the watch and divide it by 36, and that's your monthly payment, no interest. And so it encourages you to actually not why write the check to buy it when you can pay it off 1/36 at a time, and there's no interest charge. There's no interest or fees. It's just they make money selling the watch or the iPhone or whatever. So, I got an iPhone coming for her. I've already got the iPhone 14, and I probably showed you the other eyes of the cat. So I took this picture and put it in there as my, face, because the new software allows you to have it, dimmed. Well, if you activate the dimmed, the eyes light up. It's really spooky at night. Anyway, so, all right, time's up. 6:08:15. 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 22 seconds. What Jimmy Thinks, broadcasting live from our studio in downtown Boca Raton, Florida. And the topic is table talk. Stuff that you talk around the table. And this is at least the stuff that talks around our tables. Okay, so you all have a nice dinner and whatever, and I'm going to go. I'm finishing up a little coffee here. I don't think I'm going to have any more coffee. And we'll catch you tomorrow. Probably, no, it's either going to be morning or afternoon. So